On this very floor in January, the whole world witnessed a historic contest for House Speaker. I rise today to serve notice. Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role. The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair. We have had no vote on term limits or on balanced budgets as the agreement demanded and required. There's been no full release of the January 6 tapes as you promised. There has been insufficient accountability for the Biden crime family. And instead of cutting spending to raise the debt limit, you relied on budgetary gimmicks and rescissions so that you ultimately ended up serving as the valet to underwrite Biden's debt and advance his spending agenda. Mr. Speaker, you boasted in January that we would use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. But here we are, 8 months later, and we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. That's how you know that the rushed and somewhat rattled performance you just saw from the Speaker isn't real. At this point, during Democrat control over the House of Representatives, they had already brought in Don Jr. 3 times. And we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. Power of the subpoena and power of the purse. Only thing the 118th Congress is known for at this point is electing Kevin McCarthy Speaker and underwriting Biden's debt. And unfortunately, there's only one of those things we can remediate at this time. Power of the purse. Our leadership right now is asking us to vote for a continuing resolution. A vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the Green New Deal, a vote to continue inflationary spending, and in the most troubling of fashions, a vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the election interference of Jack Smith. Mr. Speaker, we told you how to use the power of the purse. Individual, single-subject spending bills that would allow us to have specific review, programmatic analysis, and that would allow us to zero out the salaries of the bureaucrats who have broken bad, targeted President Trump, or cut sweetheart deals for Hunter Biden. September 30th is rapidly approaching, and you have not put us in a position to succeed. There is no way to pass all the individual appropriations bills now, and it's not like we didn't know when September 30th was going to show up on the calendar. I must be better, you must be better, and this House must be better, for it is the last best hope for tens of millions of Republicans. We demand real oversight against this weaponized government. Just look at the bribery. If tens of millions of dollars flowing from foreign corrupt people into the bank accounts of the Biden family wasn't enough for actual impeachment, why were we even looking? Joe Biden deserves impeachment for converting the vice presidency into an ATM machine for virtually his entire family. We all see it. We all know it. Now, moments ago, Speaker McCarthy endorsed an impeachment inquiry. This is a baby step following weeks of pressure from House conservatives to do more. We must move faster. Now, I will concede that the votes I have called for will likely fail: term limits, balanced budgets, maybe even impeachment. I am prepared for that eventuality because at least if we take votes, the American people get to see who's fighting for them and who's willing to tolerate more corruption and business as usual. Mr. Speaker, dust off our written January agreement. You have a copy. Reflect on the spirit of that agreement and build on the start that we had moments ago. Begin to comply. No continuing resolutions, individual spending bills or bust, votes on balanced budgets and term limits, subpoenas for Hunter Biden and the members of the Biden family who've been grifting off of this country, and the impeachment for Joe Biden that he so richly deserves. Do these things or face a motion to vacate the chair. And let me alert the country, a motion to vacate might not pass at first, but it might before the 15th vote. And if Democrats bail out McCarthy, as they may do, then I will lead the resistance to this uniparty and the Biden-McCarthy-Jeffries government that they are attempting to build. I know that Washington isn't a town where people are known for keeping their word. Well, Speaker McCarthy, I'm here to hold you to yours.
You know, the months that we were gone and the weeks, House Republicans have uncovered serious and credible allegations into President Biden's conduct. Taken together, these allegations paint a picture of a culture of corruption. Now, here's what we know so far. Through our investigations, we have found that President Biden did lie to the American people about his own knowledge of his family's foreign business dealings. Eyewitnesses have testified that the president joined on multiple phone calls and had multiple interactions. Dinners resulted in cars and millions of dollars into his son's and his son's business partners. We know that bank records show that nearly $20 million in payments were directed to the Biden family members and associates through various shell companies. The Treasury Department alone has more than 150 transactions involving the Biden family and other business associates that were flagged as suspicious activity by U.S. banks. Even a trusted FBI informant has alleged a bribe to the Biden family. Biden used his official office to coordinate with Hunter Biden's business partners about Hunter's role in Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company. Finally, despite these serious allegations, it appears that the president's family has been offered special treatment by Biden's own administration, treatment that not otherwise would have received if they were not related to the president. These are allegations of abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption, and they warrant further investigation by the House of Representatives. That's why today I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. That's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the president would want to answer these questions and allegations as well. This effort will be led by Chairman James Comer at the Committee on Oversight, in coordination with Chairman Jim Jordan for Judiciary Committee and Chairman Jason Smith on Ways and Means. Now, I do not make this decision lightly. And regardless of your party or who you voted for, these facts should concern all Americans. The American people deserve to know that the public offices are not for sale, and that the federal government is not being used to cover up the actions of a politically associated family. Now, I would encourage the president and his team to fully cooperate with this investigation in the interests of transparency. We are committed to getting the answers for the American public. Nothing more, nothing less. We will go wherever the evidence takes us.
Afternoon, everyone. Extreme MAGA Republicans have launched an illegitimate impeachment inquiry that is a kangaroo court, fishing expedition, and conspiracy theater rolled into one. There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has engaged in wrongdoing. There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed an impeachable offense. There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed a crime. This is an illegitimate impeachment inquiry, period, full stop. It's a waste of time and taxpayer dollars. Extreme MAGA Republicans have no economic agenda. They have no housing agenda. They have no health care agenda. They have no education agenda. They have no public safety agenda. They have no agenda designed to address the needs of the American people. We were sent to Washington, D.C. to improve the quality of life of everyday Americans. The extreme MAGA Republicans are determined to illegitimately investigate the president as part of an ideological crusade that week after week after week continues to do nothing more than try and jam their extreme right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. President Joe Biden is a good man. He's an honest man. He's a patriotic man. House Democrats will defend President Biden today. We will defend President Biden tomorrow. We will defend President Biden next week. We will defend President Biden next month. We will defend President Biden next year. We will defend President Biden until the very end.
As the leader has said, this impeachment is based on no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden, but it's all the evidence we need to show that Kevin McCarthy has lost control of the gavel. With this announcement today, he has proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Republican conference is controlled by conspiracy theorists, devoid of reasonable voices that are coming here to govern and solve problems. Donald Trump is the ultimate puppet master. Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling the shots. They ignored their constituents and they have purged their ranks of anyone who could call themselves a moderate. If there were moderates left, where are they? Why haven't they demanded a vote? Why haven't they come out and called this a distraction, a gross political stunt? Why? Because MAGA extremists are running the House. 6 weeks ago, Kevin McCarthy sent the House home without a plan to keep the federal government open for business. Now we have just days to fund the government for the American people. But instead of getting to work, instead of thinking about the brave firefighters who need to get paid as they battle wildfires across this country, our heroic troops who deserve a paycheck for their service, the communities that need disaster aid, the seniors that depend on government service. He has launched a sham impeachment inquiry rooted in baseless, discredited lies. There is no evidence, none. And when Republicans are asked about it, they dance around the question. So what's the origin story of today's announcement? January 3rd, when the extremists dangled the speakership in front of Kevin McCarthy and he sold out. Those extremists have pushed us to the edge of economic disaster with the manufactured default crisis. When we came together in an agreement to save our economy, before the ink was even dry, McCarthy once again succumbed to pressure and reneged. Then he sent us home for 6 weeks, just having passed one of 12 appropriation bills. And now here we are. Just days ago, he vowed to hold a vote for an inquiry. But the leaders of the MAGA Republican Conference are not here to serve the American people or improve their lives or brighten their future. There is no agenda except chaos and division. They are only interested in advancing MAGA extremism. But whatever distractions they manufacture, Democrats are here to do our jobs. We are here to grow the economy by growing the middle class, and that's what we'll continue to do. And now I yield to our incredible caucus chair, Pete Aguilar.
Thank you so much, Whip Clark. Here we are again, 9 months later, chaos, confusion, dysfunction. That's how this Congress started. When we nominated Leader Jeffries 15 times, the chaos on the other side, the deals that had to be cut, that's who the Republican conference is. House Democrats aren't going to be distracted. We're going to continue talking about the important agenda that we've laid out. creating 13 million jobs with the Biden-Harris administration, implementing landmark pieces of legislation, lifting up the middle class. Those are the things that the American public wants us to talk about, and those are the things that we will continue to deliver. This Republican conference is solely about chaos, confusion, and the performance of a few personalities. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy have dinner. Donald Trump and Kevin McCarthy have dinner. They break bread and they plot all of this for House Republicans to carry his political water and do his bidding. Our focus is going to be the American people. Our focus is not going to be on the politics of Donald Trump. That's not who we are. That's not what the American public wants us to focus on.
Questions?
Obviously, the announcement today from Speaker McCarthy with just a few weeks left before the government shuts down, does this make it more difficult to work with the Speaker in getting a continuing resolution, getting government funding before that October 1st deadline?
We have responsibility as members of Congress to make sure that we are funding the government to provide for the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people. And launching this illegitimate impeachment inquiry is certainly a distraction. Instead of focusing on doing the business of the American people, extreme MAGA Republicans are doing the bidding of their puppet master in chief, Donald Trump. When Donald Trump says jump, the extreme MAGA Republicans say how high. Leading the charge in this House Republican conference right now are extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene and George Santos. They are driving the train right now in doing the bidding, of course, of Donald Trump. And it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation. As both Catherine and Pete indicated, House Democrats are going to continue to partner with President Biden to make life better for everyday Americans, to grow the middle class, to build an economy from the middle out and from the bottom up, and to continue to tackle problems on behalf of the American people. And it's our hope that just a handful of responsible Republicans on the other side, instead of engaging in this malignant impeachment theater, will partner with House Democrats to get things done for everyday Americans.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Leader Jeffries. When were the motion to vacate put forth, would House Democrats come to McCarthy's rescue, given that he said, at least in your viewpoint, there could always be someone worse? And second, regarding appropriations, will House Democrats utilize the discharge petition mechanism to force votes on any appropriations bill that it passes, because it only takes a handful of Republicans to join all Democrats and pass Senate?
Well, the motion to vacate question is a hypothetical one that's not before us. We've had no discussion about it, and I don't expect us to have any discussion about it moving forward. House Democrats are going to continue to focus on our fundamental responsibilities of putting people over politics, fighting for lower costs, for better paying jobs, for safer communities, for reproductive freedom, defending democracy, building an economy that works for everyday Americans. The extreme MAGA Republicans are wasting time and taxpayer dollars with this illegitimate impeachment inquiry. That's quite unfortunate. They're going to have to work out their own internal poisonous partisan political dynamics. House Democrats are going to continue to focus on the business of the American people. We have not had a discussion about a motion to discharge with respect to anything connected to funding the government. We have responsibility to fund the government. There was an agreement that was reached that House Republicans negotiated with President Biden. So we shouldn't even be in this situation of a possible government shutdown. But that tells you how extreme the MAGA Republicans are in the House right now.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries. On top of that, a lot of Republicans have said that they will not support a continuing resolution, a clean CR. Are you at all concerned, or what are some concerns that your conference would have about there being some rioters or some things that you could consider poison pills? Are there any red lines that your conference would have for a continuing resolution?
The extreme MAGA Republicans are determined to shut the government down, crash the economy, or alternatively, jam their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. We will not be paying any right-wing ransom notes, period, full stop. It's not happening. And so this reckless legislative joyride that the extremists are trying to take the American people on, which may end in a government shutdown that will hurt the American people, hurt business, and hurt the economy, falls squarely at the feet of the extremists in the House Republican Conference. And it's our hope that some common sense will prevail. But as Catherine Clark indicated, there are no moderates left in the House Republican Conference. They talk a good game, but at the end of the day, they all do the same exact thing: bend the knee to Donald Trump. Thank you, everyone.